case were acquitted in April.
The Michigan Supreme Court ruling that a judge sitting as a one-person grand jury has no power to issue indictments under rarely used state laws led to the state throwing out the charges against former Governor Rick Snyder and the 7 others charged in the Flint water crisis.
But this ruling will impact one mid-Michigan county more than others. As TV5's Raven Blue reports, the Genesee County Prosecutor says they used the one-man grand jury to help protect witnesses, and this ruling could put violent offenders back on the streets.
The Supreme Court decision is not something that is useful for prosecutors in counties like mine.
In a unanimous decision, the Michigan Supreme Court dealt a huge blow to Genesee County prosecutors. The court's ruling limits the abilities of a one-person grand jury, making it more difficult for criminal cases to be prosecuted.
When the Flint water cases went up to the Michigan Supreme Court, I was watching very carefully, and at that point I suspended use of the one-man grand jury because I believed that there was the chance the Supreme Court was going to rule the way they eventually did rule.
Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton says his office will now have to go back to square one in cases where a one-person grand jury was used. He says he uses the practice to help protect witnesses. Without the option, Layton says it makes his witness protection pilot program that much more important.
We really do need witness protection, and we need a much more sustainable level of funding, because there are so many witnesses who have become reluctant to testify.
Layton says by having to start over with pending cases, there is a possibility that violent criminals may end up back on the street because witnesses are reluctant to testify in open court. But despite the court's decision, Layton is determined to make sure those who commit crimes are held accountable.
This is a blow to public safety, but we will figure it out.
The Genesee County Prosecutor's Office currently has 38 cases with 75 to 80 defendants pending, and only one previous case where a defendant took a plea deal that used a one-person grand jury. Raven Blue, WNEM TV5.
And former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder has pleaded the Fifth to giving live testimony in the Flint water crisis trial.